we just try and make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. Works.
That's
Cool.
Well,
Sweet.
sorry.
So, question 1, who is Jordan Goetz?
Who is Jordan Goetz? I am a transplant from California, and Jordan in third person. We'll cut that out. I grew up as a single child with a single mother in California, and I was always creative and always getting into something, whether it be building something out of boxes or painting or drawing or whatever it was. I was always like had a creative bug going on with me, and I just growing up, my mom was always very positive about and like encouraging with me to do what you're passionate about, do it makes you happy, and what made me happy as a child was being creative.
Nice.
And I grew up and throughout high school did all that, and started playing music in high school and started shifting from like painting and drawing into the arts of music and joined bands and stuff like that. And I think I had just graduated high school, and my mom had passed away from cancer, and I think that kind of catapulted me into just like, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, catapulted into life. Where do I go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do I belong? Like,
Right, okay.
like what's so many emotions, but your best friend just left, and I wasn't necessarily like alone, but like my father wasn't in the picture. My aunt, her sister, was in the picture, and she was there to help me out, when I needed help here and there, whatever the case may be. But still, I think internally I was just like,
Yeah, that's
oh, okay,
perfect.
what do I do now? And I had was still, was trying to play music, but also at the same time I was like self-medicating with whatever I could put in my body at the time. And I could have gone down this crazy dark path, which I think would probably have been expected after something that tragic happening. But I didn't. My mom and I always had an agreement to like just keep going no matter what happens. If something had happened to me, she'd keep going. Something happens to her, I keep going. And that stuck with me, and that kind of helped me get through and process that event and time in my life. And then a group of friends and I moved from Santa Barbara, California to Austin.
Nice.
And
how many years ago was that? 17 years ago, did you say?
17 years ago, yeah. And I think as soon as I crossed the state lines here, I started getting that creative bug again. I felt like a child.
Nice.
Coming back to who I am, and being energetic and fun and outgoing and creative. And I started painting again, and I realized I hated painting because if it wasn't perfect and I had to start over, I couldn't just paint over it.
Right.
And then I started drawing, and then I found music again, and just found my inner child and my creative source, and just started, making friends here and working downtown in the bars and networking, and then I was able to start building. That was a whole new outlet of like really building stuff, not cardboard forts or robots out of cardboard boxes, but like really getting creative. And like when I realized that you can really make, you unlock this like level inside of you where you can actually make anything.
Yep.
And that was just like, all right, let's see what this holds. Let's see what we can do with this. And it was nice to get back to that childlike feeling, and really nice to like just be creative again. Because I've definitely, I think when I was being creative in the music scene, like I still wasn't really present. I was just like so out of my body. And
it wasn't you.
Yeah, just processing like really unimaginable. So
Yeah. So when you were doing all the creative stuff younger before you came here, had you ever dabbled in woodwork before?
no, not that I
Right.
remember. No, I mean, my uncle did a little bit of it, but nothing that I remember. Like I was probably one or two, but I remember seeing some pieces and like, that's a really cool corner cabinet thing with a,
Yeah, okay.
you know, something, you know, but nothing, no.
So how did that all start? Because you came to work in bars, you never came to be a carpenter or anything.
Well, I
like
came
that.
out here just to get out of California.
Right.
Yeah, I was just kind of like done with that whole lifestyle and the mentality and who's who and I'm better than this and you know, my car's bigger and faster. It's like we're good. So I came out here and I didn't really have any direction. I just knew I had to start over, and if I stayed in Santa Barbara, I wasn't gonna do anything.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 23, 23-ish.
It was pretty
24,
wise at that age to be
27.
like, I'm done with this. You know?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was just one of those things where I was driving around and I had this like come to Jesus moment where I was like, I had to cut off all outside help, you know, from like my aunt, you know, unless it was like something I needed, like I was like in a real pickle. But I was like, I need you to stop helping me. Like I was using it more of a crutch. And then like when I actually needed help, and I was like, cut me off from everything. Don't help me. I need to figure this out. Like I can't tie my shoelaces. I don't know how to do that. I didn't,
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, I was like, I don't, you know, I don't
You
know.
become overly dependent on other people.
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't how it works. Like I can't do this. This isn't real life. And yeah, so then I moved out here and moved out here with a buddy of mine, Gabe, and him and I played music together in California, and I think we might have played music when we first moved out here. But he did woodwork, and he would do like bar remodels and like really cool like inlays and floors and like trim work and stuff like that. And I think it was at that moment when he would start giving me a couple tools. Like if you got a new chop saw, he gave me like his old Ryobi and like his old Makita. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, what does this button do? Like I had no idea. But all of a sudden this unlocked so many more like opportunities. Like it wasn't like just like hand sawing stuff, like, you know, and that he really inspired me to start building and, you know, making things, whatever. I mean, I have one of the first lamps I ever made. It was just a tree stump cut off when I drilled a hole in it. I put a light bulb in it, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like I was just like, I'm onto something here, you know. And I went to my friend's kid's birthday, and they were like, "You remember this?" I'm like, "How do you still have that after like 10 years? Like that's wild." Like, and
I think it's nice to see how far you've come.
Totally. And I took it back from them, and I was like, let me fix it up and make it look nice. But then I kind of like, I haven't touched it yet because I kind of think it's cool that's
Don't
like,
fix it up.
right.
No,
Don't fix it up.
That's the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fix it because you'll look back on it and you'll be like, oh, this was the original. But then 7 years later or however
I did a couple brass inlays. I did this
don't
gloss.
fix it up. Just make another one.
Yeah.
Keep that one, give them another one back as proxy.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't fix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gabe could give me tools. That inspired me to start building and trying new things. And I remember I was like, this was like, I would collect reclaimed wood before reclaimed wood was like a real like term. And I would drive around all the homes like Travis Heights, Golden Creek, and Hyde Park, and all these like really cool like 1930s bungalows. And they were being demoed for new builds. And I'd go up and be like, can I have this wood to the workers? And they're like, this kid is going to do our job for us for free. That's great. Yeah, take it. It's trash.
can.
They're going to dump it. You know, now people will sell it before it's bulldozed. And so I would stuff my Scion full of, just bottom it out and stack it on the side of my house. So I would like make things with like mason jars attached to it. And I was like, let's make it more fun and like cut a deer antler and put it in it. And that was like the smelliest thing ever. I like never cut bone ever again. It was the worst smell. And so that's kind of just how I got into it. And then, I was like, let me try to make a table or a day bed or something, which is still on the side of the house I want to go get it. It's so bad. But so I started building stuff and growing that skill and bartending at night, and I'd come home and I'd wake up at like 9 or 10 in the morning and start playing around again and finding stuff in the front yard to cut up and glue together. And it just kind of snowballed into this whole business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come a long way.
Come a long way. Yeah, it's wild.
At that point, did you think it was going to become this business? Or did you have a desire for that?
I had a desire. I knew I wanted to be creative. I went to school for a little bit, a short period of time, and studied early childhood education and wanted to be a 4th grade teacher. And I don't think that was going to really fill my glass. You know, and as much as I love kids, and I think that being a teacher is probably one of the most important jobs on the planet, it just wasn't going to fill my cup. And
there's a thing with that, though, isn't there? That because I think it is one of the most important jobs on the planet. I think they're grossly, grossly underpaid, but you need to be all in.
All in.
Yeah, people 100%. Like there's a. When a job comes, let's be honest, when a job comes with that many holidays, it's going to attract certain types of people as well.
Totally.
But to be like a good teacher, I'm glad if you weren't all in, you didn't go down that route.
Right, totally. 100% on that. Yeah. And and so what was the question?
We're talking about
we're gonna cut that out.
We're talking about if you saw it as becoming a business way back
then.
It's
I think that like once I started figuring out that I could build a frame and I could put wood on top of the frame and that made a tabletop, and this is not how I would build them now or how I build them now. But that's you need the support and you put the wood on there and that's it. It'll hold your cut. We're good. Then you can order hairpin legs. Those were really popular back in the day. And that was it. And then people were like, that's amazing. You should put that on Facebook before Marketplace, before Instagram, all that stuff. And in my head, all I did was drive around, pick up junky wood, and put it on some legs that I bought. But people didn't look at it that way. And when I sold my first piece for $250, I was like, over the moon.
Stuff.
I'm like, dude, this is it. Like, I made it. Someone just paid money for something I made. And, but yeah, I was in a spare room of my old house, and then I moved to the front yard. And then my friend was like, hey, I used to turn on a lathe.
Oh, nice.
I have a shed in my backyard. Would you want to move your tools over there? And if I can use your tools, you can use my shed. And I was like, that seems fair. And it was like probably 2 of my bathrooms.
Yeah,
not the, and I was like, I have so much space now.
Yeah.
I can make anything I want. And I got a job doing a VIP artist lounge for a music festival in Vegas.
Cool.
And I did it out of there. And they let me work from 10 a.m. till 11 p.m. Like, I was always there.
Yeah.
Turned their office into a drying room and fumed out their house. Like, they were beyond patient with me. And I finally got another job doing a coffee shop. And that one was like big enough for me to quit bartending.
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, this is
paying me well.
The biggest paycheck I've ever seen. Like one time, like this is crazy. And at that point I was like, okay, like I'll put my notice in for bartending. And everyone was like, there's no way you're gonna make it out of bartending. Or like, what do you mean you're gonna start a business making furniture?
Like how do you make money from that?
Totally, yeah. And I was like, a lot of doubters.
The question that does my box in, how are you going to make money from that? It's like,
watch me.
It's just so annoying.
Yeah. It was, a lot of doubters, and I think that if you want something, I know, that if you want something bad enough and you're passionate about it and you have the drive, like nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to get in your way. I've had so many ups and downs. I've had the lowest of lows in this business where I'm just like, maybe I'm not in the right business. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Mm-hmm. And then I just keep pushing forward. And you come out there. There's always going to be light at the end of that tunnel for that.
Yeah.
In any of those situations. And you just keep persevering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's more highs than lows.
Always.
There's always more highs and lows. Unfortunately, at the time, the lows feel real low.
Yeah.
So bad. Yeah. There was a point where I'd done a job and was going back and forth with the client and them not wanting to pay me, and I was like, that's not how this is going down.
Yeah.
And I had to move out of my other studio, and I was feeling so lost. Like I had never had an anxiety or a panic attack.
So you had to move out because they didn't pay you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd worked on this job
That's-
for like 6 or 7 months.
Oh no, that's not good.
And then they didn't pay me a large sum of money to where I wasn't taking other jobs because this other job was so big.
Yeah.
And then moved out of that space because I couldn't afford it because I was planning on that money to pay my rent.
Yep.
And I hadn't taken other
That's
jobs.
rough. That's rough.
So then Gabe, who I moved out here with, let me move into his little shed in his backyard until I kind of got a groove going again. And, you know, that was super scary.
Did you get paid though in the end?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I took care of it.
Yeah.
I called Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and now we're in my largest
The biggest
thing,
shop,
and
yeah.
it's never. Yeah, I was so nervous about this. I was like, can I afford it? Will I have the work coming in? And it hasn't stopped.
Okay.
And I think when you open up a shop like this and you put it out there and you're online, and you know, other architects or builders or interior designers see the space, they're like, okay, he can take the load.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
give that to him. You know,
Yeah.
if they see you in a garage,
Yeah.
and I've worked at a garages, and like I said, spare bedrooms. There's nothing wrong with that, but like, I think when someone sees that that's your limit, then
There's a bit of hesitation, isn't there, to take you on?
yeah.
because-
Can you take on? Are you going to be able to get it done properly? Like, do you have the right machinery? Do you know, like, and you know.
And a lot of those people probably don't even know what the right machinery looks like. They just know machines, space.
Totally.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
machines and space sell it all. And,
Yeah.
and space, people can come and visit.
That's why we're here, because
Yeah.
People can come see it.
yeah, we're centrally located. We're 2 minutes to downtown. We're next to like great restaurants, and like I was saying, when we finish a project, we like to open up and have a happy hour and have food and beverages
Great
here.
idea.
So
Nice.
invite whoever wants to come in and check it out, but just like come see the space, because I think that helps people get a better idea of what they're investing in.
Yeah. So you said there about, you just have to keep pushing on. What is it that kept you pushing on?
This was, I think, what made me keep pushing on was in the back of my head, my mom saying, just in life between us, keep going and don't let. But I think what kept me going is I knew that this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I sat down, I had a real sit down with myself, like, okay, what's next? What else am I going to do here? I could go back to teaching, maybe I'd do some writing, I don't know. But nothing clicked, nothing made me feel alive. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I just kept, I don't know, just kept building whether I had a job or not. And it was hard, it was scary, because you're in a foreign place and you're in your friend's backyard now.
Yeah.
And you're running extension cords from their kitchen into their yard. Like, it's just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, I was like up here, and now I'm like in a dumpster. Not that their barn or shed was a dumpster, just like emotionally
Yeah.
in a dumpster.
Yeah, you feel you've gone backwards rather than
I just felt
forward.
like my heart had been yanked out of my
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
You know, because I have so much passion behind what I do, and someone takes that from me like that,
Yeah.
it's just
that's
fucked.
tough.
Yeah. That's rotten.
Oh,
That's rotten.
like, I just, like, I can't, gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Just, I've never had a panic attack, and like the fact that you feel like you can't breathe, and your body's shaking,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's happening. It's hard to swallow, and this happens for months. Like, and I'm just like, I think I might be dying.
Yeah.
Like,
There is a chance I am on my way.
yeah, totally. Yeah, maybe
yeah.
maybe I'm out. Maybe this is it. Maybe I did what I'm supposed to do.
Maybe
If
it's
that's the
done.
case, we're good.
Do you think, though, having an experience like that then makes everything else just a bit easier?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think I've had so many conversations with friends in and out of this business, whether any part of life. Every time you get out of a low spot, it just makes it so much, you come out stronger.
Yeah.
You come out bigger, you come out better, wiser, and I think dealing with that specific situation for me has just made, when I hit something like that, like, I just brush it off.
Yeah.
I don't even think twice about it. It's not worth my energy. I know it's not forever. And I think that's the best advice I can give people, is just don't let it get you down.
Yeah.
As much as easier said than done.
Done. I know.
But like, it's not. it's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
It's just not at all
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Not that we're encouraging anyone to go into a self-induced panic attack over it, but
No.
having been through that, everything seems a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I feel like now I can go through anything.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
good. Because you're still pretty young in your career at all this, so having had such heartache early on at it, that's real good foundations moving forward, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving out of the bar work, how did you find all those clients? And we talked very briefly about it before.
So yeah, we talked briefly about when I think what it is and what I love about Austin, and when I was saying is that Austin is all about the community, whether it's your coffee shop or your restaurant or your bakery or whatever it is. People want to support the local community, and that's such a beautiful thing. And from bartending, I got to meet other doctors, lawyers, whoever, bar owners, restaurant owners, anybody, tech owners. But when you're bartending and you're someone's therapist, they get to know you very well. I mean, you might not get to know them, but because you're working. But I think so the subconscious of me networking the city, working bar downtown for 5 years, when you start to break away or you start to post something on Facebook and you're like, hey, I'm making furniture now, or like, I'm trying to make furniture. They want to help you. They want to give you that step up.
Nice.
And so
You've
when
got
I
those
was
connections, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all been word of mouth. It's all been, and I love it that way. And I don't think I'd have it any other way. And I think that's the best way because it speaks highly. When I did my first coffee shop that got me to quit bartending, I wouldn't say it was my best work, but it was my first job and it was good enough to get the job done. And, someone walked in there and was like, who did this? Oh, call Jordan. We need you to do this restaurant. Can you handle 30 tables? Absolutely. Did I know I could? But I knew I had the drive to do it. I wasn't going to say no. And that's kind of like where Growler came from, was not backing down from any challenges.
Nice.
As a child, when you're losing your mom, you're thrown out into the world and you're in the wild now. You just kind of got to face your fears and keep going. And that's what Growler is. And so, and now you just kind of keep
pushing forward.
Yeah.
That's one, it's really cool. I would never have thought about it that way, but it is, like I said to you before, it is a perfect networking opportunity, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's like cool, quirky bars that are going to need refitted, that have, because presumably everyone that's got a bar has got a pal who's also got a coffee shop, who's got a pal who's also got a taqueria, who's got a pal.
Totally.
And that's a world.
And they also have friends that own
Endless.
restaurants. Because when you get into that world, it just happens, and then they introduce you to another restaurant owner who's their friend, or maybe their friend walks in and like, hey, I want that for my house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm doing both residential and commercial, which a lot of people are like, you should pick one and stick to it. But I want everybody to have my art.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. I don't think you need to stick to one or the other.
No, I don't either.
Especially not in... So it'd be different if you were fitting out franchises in big places. I get that. You maybe need to gear up to be able to make 5,000 seats because they're going to 100 different franchises. I get that.
Totally.
But when it's like smaller independents, especially what we've seen back home and here, is those smaller independent places are going for that more residential, home-like vibe. So there's no reason why you should have to split. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I think, just you can do both.
Yeah, I think people really like to have their space, the restaurants, coffee shops come in and be really cozy.
Yeah.
And you want to stay there for a while and hang out. Yeah.
So how long ago was it that you quit the bartending to build?
Starting up your business.
10 and a half years.
10 and a half years. And is that when Growler started? Or
Yeah.
Right. And you just went all in, like, this is it?
Yeah, I think I might have still been bartending a little bit when Growler started, but I think once I got that coffee shop job, I didn't have time.
Yeah,
That
you're
was a
like,
big turning
that's my
point.
focus.
Yeah, I had just learned how to weld. I was like, yeah, I can weld. I can do that.
And
10.5 years.
Was it self-taught, everything that you've learned?
Pretty much, yeah. Gabe showed me a couple things. My buddy Boomer showed me how to weld.
Yeah.
He basically handed me a couple pieces of metal.
Great name for a welder
Totally.
fabricator, Boomer.
Boomer.
Love it.
He handed me some metal and was like, "Don't kill yourself. Don't touch it." And I'll be
It's
back.
not.
I'll be back in an hour. I made the ugliest sculpture ever. But I was so excited to learn how to weld that day. I remember how that again filled my cup. I was so alive. I
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
Are you one of these makers that gets excited about the finished product or the making?
That's a good question.
Or the working out how to do the undoable?
You know, I think that your favorite parts kind of shift throughout your career.
Okay.
I think that when I first started, I was really excited about the making portion of it and physically making it. And then I shifted to like the finished product. And now I think I'm shifting into like really dialing in how it's going to come together and really piecing it together before anything happens. Yeah, and because I'm so ass backwards with the way you do things, where my employees will be like, "Oh, you should make a cut list," and I'm just like, "What is a cut list? Why would I make that? Like, it's here.
Yeah.
I can literally look at
What's
something."
a cutlass? Is that like a pirate sword?
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I can look at a picture and like immediately have a cut list in my
Right.
head, and I guess that's weird. But
Yeah.
so I'm learning how to do that. So I guess learning something new
Yeah.
throughout the craft is what is exciting. But I've learned that building something in the studio here, it's only its own being, its own form, its own thing when it's in the studio. It's not till it gets to its home or a restaurant, like its final resting place, that it becomes what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you know, you got this table back here that you guys will look at. Oh, no, it's a beautiful table. In my head, I'm just, is it? That's all right. You know, but then you get it in, and it's, you know, encompassed with like the booth that I made with all the panels and everything works together. And then
Yeah.
you see the chandelier and the art's there and the lights are dimmed. And then
It's like, wow.
then there's your piece. That's what you made.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah. Okay, I hear that.
Yeah, like it's when I think one thing that we like to do is when we go and work with an individual or a residential is go to their home, because a lot of people don't realize what's going to make the space, you know, and whether it's matching hardware from the kitchen cabinets to the table or doing contrasting wood tones from the floors. All those things make a difference and make a piece.
I think that I would agree with that, like seeing your product in situ being used in its space, that's like, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
Or that's where it's meant to be, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. I don't think there's many arguments against that.
Yeah.
We just won an award for one of our
I
tables.
saw that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
But I have a photo of that table, and their kids were so excited that day, and they got on top of it and were jumping on it. And I was like, this is not how this works. I gotta go. But to see, you know, I think also, like, I love seeing the clients just over the moon,
Yeah.
excited about the project and the pieces and where it started with a vision and a crappy pencil drawing, which I'm horrible at, to like the finished product
Yeah.
where I see it in my head is a cool thing. I think that's what I love the most.
So how does it work when your clients approach you? Are they approaching you with a brief, or are they just like, how open are the briefs you're working to?
That it varies.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, some people are like, a lot of people, well, I mean, some people will say this is exactly what I want. Then I come in and like, well, let's make it more custom. And that's where I go to the home and see where we can tweak this. Because I don't want to make someone else's stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes people give me full creative freedom, like the table. So it just varies.
And that must have changed over the years as you get a better name for yourself, more people giving you more and more.
Yeah, and you know, it's sometimes people are like, hey, I need a dining room table. Can I get a quote? I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you got cardboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think going in and seeing what their style is. Sometimes people don't even know what their style is.
Yeah.
You know, and I can go in and assess the whole surroundings and they like curves, they like soft edges, they like hard, they're more masculine, they want more brutalist stuff. It's just, there's no real solid straight answer for that one.
Yeah. No, that's fair. There doesn't have to be a solid straight answer for any of this. So the do you go in and you kind of assess the space. Do you have an interior designer that goes with you, or is it all just based on your eye?
So, yes, and that's interesting. I work with several interior designers.
Right. Because that's a big thing in the US. It doesn't feel like a big thing back home. Either that, or we don't earn enough money to know that it's a thing back home.
Right. I wish I would have known this earlier in my career, because I think that I got into this to design furniture and make furniture, which sometimes I get to design furniture. The table that we won an award for was designed by me, which was cool. But when you are designing your own thing that you like and you're putting all your eggs in that basket, you are depending that the entire world likes that.
Gonna like it, yeah.
Whereas if you have a client go to an interior designer who has a good eye and good style, and then they can come to you with a fun project and a proper budget, and then you can work on that with another designer and you can tweak it and you can make it cool, then you're making something unique and you're getting paid properly for it. So I would, working with an interior designer is...
That's interesting. That's good advice too.
It's huge advice. I also, it could be where I was at 10 years ago in this business. I was still really much thinking that I had to go downtown and party, and if I didn't go downtown and show my face, then people weren't going to forget about me, and then I wouldn't get work, which is not the case, because I can't go downtown. I'm so tired by the end of the day. But it's getting in with an interior designer, and I don't think my stuff was good enough to be even looked at and thought about for an interior designer earlier on, but that's a huge thing here. And I think now I'm working with stuff in LA and New York, and it's just I think like I said, designing something, you have to, that's something that is going to live in someone's home and has to go with the rest of their belongings. And if it's going to be a standalone piece, that has to complement those other belongings that they have. And putting those eggs in that basket is scary and doesn't always work. And sometimes it does. But even like the people that are super successful with designing their own furniture that have got picked up, doesn't mean that everyone's going to like it. And it's give and take, I guess. It's all about how you look at it. But I like to stay busy. I like to be able to provide jobs for other people who can come in and they get to be creative and they're excited to show up to work. And, but I would suggest getting in with an interior designer.
But which do you really prefer when it comes down to it?
I guess this goes back to your other question then, because I love building stuff. And so if someone comes to me with a fun project, then I'm in. I guess it doesn't matter to me if I'm like making my own specific.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think if I had some time to sit back and like come up with something, it would be fun. If it got picked up, great. And like if enough people liked it, it caught traction and went on to produce it or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. But that's whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because most people are just like I want to make a name for myself and designing my own stuff and doing X, Y, and Z.
I feel like I've made a name for myself so far.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still on that path of building the brand. I don't think that having your own design defines you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whatsoever. I think it's cool if you get to. I think it's cool that my own personal design won an award. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm also not like, look at me. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You just want to make
What's
good
next?
stuff.
Yeah, like quality stuff. People ask me a lot, like, what's your favorite thing to make? And I love to make tables. I love to make tables. I want people to sit around and share stories at my tables, food, memories, all that good stuff. Like, that's what I love. And I don't know, but having my own design out there is kind of, whatever.
So would you prefer to have And I use the word quantity, but not in the negative connotation of like just pump as much stuff out as possible. I don't mean that. I mean quantity within keeping to your quality standards. Like a number of stuff out there that people can enjoy, and a number of howler rather than the one or two big bang pieces.
That's another one that people ask me a lot very regularly. Yeah, I think like if I could come up with a design for something, that I think it would have to be straightforward and simple, and maybe something that's been done but has my twist on it. But like I said, it has to be something that complements everything.
Yeah.
You could put this in your grandma's house and it works. Yeah. You can put it in a new build condo here and it works. You can put it in someone's 1930 vintage bungalow next to their mid-century modern record player and it works. You got to find that balance, I think. I get the craftsmanship. I get wanting I get it, but I don't think that it's everything.
No, I get that. I hear that, and I think that's from a business point of view, and from a...
That's what it is. It's from a business point of view, because a lot of these people aren't doing it from a business point of view. They're doing it from a hobby or just on their spare time. But if you're trying to make a business out of this, you can't do that. You gotta go. The job. I mean, I do jobs that I don't want to do. But it's good.
But as you say, if that gets your team members through the door and paid at the end of the week, then
there's
no harm in that
at all. At all.
And as you get a bigger name for yourself, and not that you've not already got that, but as that name, keeps growing and keeps being sunk into the sort of good hardware and quality furniture world, then people are just going to give you more and more and more of that freedom, aren't they? You would think.
I think so. And I think a lot of like you were asking me like how I get work, and it's word of mouth, but I think that being on socials helps a lot. And I've kind of stepped back from my stories. I used to do a lot of stories and talking with the camera. I feel like since I moved in here, it's been like go. But I think it's important for people to know who they're investing their money in.
You're the person, not the person they're investing in.
100%. Who's the artist that's making this?
Like, that's exactly why we do what we do. It's why Kate, from the very start, and this is what I really liked about when Kate, pitched it to me as if it was some sort of investor. We are a husband and wife team, so it wasn't like that. But, it was... You were really keen on always telling the people's stories. We actually don't. We're indifferent about what they make.
Yeah.
Sure.
You could be making furniture. You could be making glasses, frames, like the guys down the road from us. You could be making motorbikes. Like, it's about the story. That's what we're interested in, because I feel that's what people are buying.
It is. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a skill set that's needed in any field.
Yeah.
But I think investing in the person. I've had people in Vegas who have done a huge dining room table, and they were adamant about having me come out to deliver it.
Oh, really?
And they paid to have me come out.
That's wicked.
Cool.
They're like, they want to meet me. I'm like, this is cool. Like, I would love to meet you. Like, I want to meet everyone who buys my stuff. Thanks for supporting my business.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping me going. Thanks,
Yeah.
And so, I think
that's special. That
it is special. It's very special, and it means a lot when they want to take the time to meet the person.
That must be a huge pat on the back. That must be like the I've made it situation as a maker,
I mean,
getting the recognition.
It's a huge compliment that someone's willing to spend that money to have you out there.
Totally.
Because it's not adding anything to the product.
Not at all.
But it is to their experience.
Shake the hand, give me a hug or whatever.
Yeah.
Walk it through the door, set it up for them, take a picture. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And you get to see it in its final, like you say, in its final resting place.
Totally.
That must be good.
It was so cool because they had this really cool, beautiful crystal custom chandelier that hung over it. So we went over. It was wild. The home was wild.
Sounds crazy.
You walk into their garage of custom Range Rovers, and I was like, gonna go ahead and take this one with me back to Texas.
An extra zero on your invoice, please.
Oh, totally. I think I dropped off a couple of zeros on the...
This is a typo.
Yeah, totally.
Does that happen often where people have invited you out?
I would say not more than, no.
But anyone listening to this that goes commissioning you,
invite
you out, you'd like to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we do a handful of out-of-state ones.
Right.
But that one, I think, was the only one. But here in Austin or Houston, Dallas, wherever, we'll typically do it.
Yeah.
Delivery. Do a
Yeah.
handmade, hand-delivered situation.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the majority of your work is still in-state, Austin, Dallas areas.
Yeah. Again, I think it goes back again to interior designers. Where's their client coming from?
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of pretty well-known interior designers now who are covered nationwide.
Cool.
And sometimes I've made stuff and the pickup or a big old semi pulls up and I'm like, I have no idea. Okay, yeah, here you go. Sign this, I'll sign that. I don't know where I'll never see it again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, can I get a picture of that? And it's like, okay, here you go. Oh, that's not the picture I want.
Yeah, you want some like at least
Yeah.
you know,
Put something
take
into it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
for-
It's just like they like lean over the couch. And,
Yeah.
all right, that'll do.
I mean, I can't put that on my Instagram. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's quite hard for you then to post that out and share that with the world if you don't have that. You know, the handover situation is perfect for you because you can take the picture
Right.
in real life.
Uh-huh.
That's
yeah.
wicked.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And how did you go about striking up those relationships with interior designers? You know, you've already recommended that other furniture makers do that, but how did you really build those? A lot of the people that listen to this are other makers.
So I worked with one interior designer to start, and that was my friend Lily. Mm-hmm. And she had Lily Ann Design, and it's the same, but it's a different community. Mm-hmm. Like I'm friends with woodworkers and they follow me. Right. And we're friends and we tell stories or have lunch or whatever. So she's friends with interior designers and maybe they're in need of a woodworker. Mm-hmm. Well, here's Jordan.
Right.
Pass him along. I tag them on my stories. They tag me on their stories. Now all their interior designers see me.
Right.
Cool.
Boom, add. So like my whole Instagram is a Rolodex of who can call me, who can I call
Nice.
when I need something. If I need glass cut, I need mirrors custom cut, anything. You know, I think it's a great networking tool.
Yeah. Like it or love it, it's still a great tool.
Yeah.
And we all love it some days and we all hate it other days, but it's a great tool.
100%. Yeah, I think respecting the platform and understanding it is a huge thing, and sharing people's work and keeping a positive flow on it is.
You're good at Instagram though, because you show your face a lot and you show people what you're up to, and I think that's really important, is to, you know, keep people in your space and.
Yeah, you can bring people into your space. You know, you're absolutely right. I watched the Bradley Cooper one on the way over here. That was good. The Bradley Cooper reel. It was at the I was like, instantly I'm like, I know exactly who I'm going to speak to now. You know, stuff like that's cool, and people shouldn't shy away from.
Yeah.
It's
Showing your personality a wee bit as well.
Yeah. I think I went to Workbench Con
We're hoping to come to that next year.
3 years ago, like 2020, maybe right before COVID. Like COVID was happening while we were all leaving. We're like, what? Guess the world's over. Like, nice to meet you. But I got really good advice. I was really hesitant about showing my face and talking to the camera, and I felt really silly. Mm-hmm. And
that's real.
It is real, and you feel silly, and you're talking to your phone, and someone walks up behind you, and you know it. But it is what it is, and the person that you're getting embarrassed about seeing is going to go sit down and pull their phone out and watch someone else who's different talking to the camera, because it's just what we do.
Yeah.
And once I realized that the people that I'm trying to reach aren't my friends, they're not my family. There are other people in my world who are interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like your family's still going to be there. Your friends are still going to be there. They might think you're silly, but maybe you're silly. Fuck it. You know? Like, but you know, when I post, you know, information, or this is how I would do this, or get in touch with an interior designer, I get so many people that read it like, thank you, I had no idea. I would never have thought about that. I thought interior designers just went and like put fabric on couches and fluffed pillows. And I'm like, that's not what they do. Like, they do so much more. It's a whole process.
Yes.
And it's a great network to get into. But yeah, I think getting over that fear, and like it just clicked that I was like, okay, like we can do content now. Like 4 years ago, I never would have been like, oh, we're doing a podcast on my Instagram. I've been mortified.
Yeah.
And I'm still mortified. I mean, I could be doing a story and then FedEx guy shows up, hey, got a package. I'm like, oh, you got me. You got me. Damn it.
You got me speaking to the camera.
Totally.
I follow
Sometimes I'll just throw them on. I'm like, oh, we got a package. And they're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good way to do it. I follow that influencers in the wild, and I'm like, oh, look at these stupid people doing all that, and I'm like,
that's us.
I do exactly that in people's
people
workshop.
like that.
Yeah. I am that person, just in a workshop somewhere.
I mean, if you're walking around with 6 selfie sticks on you with a ball bearing rotating belt clip, and it's just like this, maybe you look a little, a little much. But I think if you are supporting your business and your passion and what you love to do, then fuck it.
Yeah, people.
I think
get
my friend Margot made me this ring specifically because it's just like,
Oh, nice.
Nice. Like it.
Yeah, so many things in life, just like, fuck it.
It is what it is.
Sure, more
It is what it is, man. Like,
what were you
it's
talking
life.
about?
It's temporary.
A Friday, what was it?
Oh man, one of my big jobs when we get back is I'm going to try and introduce for a maker's fuck up Friday. Because you know everyone loves the polished stuff. I want to see people that run things through the plane and the bit where it spins off like that happens. It happens to everybody. Like, let's just show the world it happens because it's good fun.
I will turn my table saw on, move the trucks out of the way, and get little blocks of wood and stand back here and throw them into the blade, and we'll do a distance. Who can get it to go the furthest? Because it's not going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, we're going that way no matter what. But
I just think it's great. It's great fun to show that we're all human. You know, like young Arthur, who works for me. I've got a mechanical engineering firm. We work a lot for film, and he was picking up a lot of the jobs while I've been here. And I phoned him the other night, and he's like, "You'll never guess what I've done." He's like, I made it 600 mil too long. I was like, how did you get that wrong? You absolute idiot. So they're fitting these racking in containers on the job, and it was 600 mil too long. And he was like, I was mortified. I was like, ha, I've done that.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Been there, don't worry about it. It's great fun. And you know, the workshop supervisor phoned me and he's like, ha, it happened. I remember when you done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, it's not a problem. We've all done it.
You just learn from
You
it.
guys follow OSHA offender?
What's that?
OSHA offender?
No.
That one.
OSHA's your health and safety thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's bad. Some of them are really funny. Some of them are very bad. like a crane snapping and the table falling and crazy stuff. But we're gonna see if Nick's gonna come over here. We got a photography studio next door to us.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Is it quite a good spot this to have a business?
Yeah, we got a photo developing here and karate next door.
Nice.
We call it like aggressive cuddling.
Aggressive cuddling.
And then power wash for people, but then we got the photo studio and then stereo
Nice.
up front. So if I finish a piece, they'll either come over here and photograph it or I can take it over there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That must be quite
So
good to
handy.
have little businesses like that to support your
fun.
business.
Yeah.
And vice versa, of course.
Yeah, and then when, either throw a party or a happy hour, people bop around. And
That's cool.
it's super fun. It's a good spot.
Do you think that's quite important for you because it can be quite lonely as a business?
I mean, I think it's great. I have if you're not familiar with this area and you are,
okay.
Walking by, it just kind of looks like a bunch of dark warehouses.
Yeah.
Put the lights up so it looks a little bit more inviting. And sometimes people walking off the streets, and I put a sign out there now so people can see that it's a wood shop back here. And
The fairy lights is a nice touch, I have to say.
Yeah. I seen the Growler Domestics sign, and that's
the IG lights.
Yeah. They're nice, I like them.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing to have a good community here. I think I was really invested in making friends with everybody as soon as I moved in.
Yeah.
And we had mutual friends in common who were other photographers, so kind of just fell into place.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
Small world.
When you scaled up, when was it that you started bringing other people on board? Because you say how many employees do you have now?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
How was that bringing someone else on board?
Well, I've gone through a few over the years. I think, I struggled with hiring anybody for a very long time. I was so under the impression that if someone's paying a high dollar amount for my custom furniture, that they were expecting me to make it
Yep.
personally. And that's not the case.
But I could see why. I could see why you felt that way.
Yeah, and then I'm like, was this person going to do it good enough?
Yeah.
Is there going to be, are you going to do it my way, style-wise? Get it done properly? And that's just not how it works. There's other people out there that can do what you do.
Yeah.
And I finally, in the last year, took me 10 years to let go of the reins.
Wow. Okay.
10 years. I had a couple here and there, but I would never in a million years leave them a to-do list and go on vacation to Mexico tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
And be like, okay, this needs to be done on Tuesday when I get back. Like that thought did not exist. It was so foreign. And then, you know, and also like the thought that like, oh, I'm going to have to pay this person.
Yeah, there's a pressure involved in that, isn't there?
I've got to pay them. Now I'm losing money, but you're not losing money because you put that into the project.
Yes.
And
Get it done
everyone's
quickly.
happy.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know, I just didn't compute for me. And
You're not
now,
the only one, by the way. You're
totally,
not the
I
only one.
get that. And I think, you know, if you can find someone who is qualified to do what they do, responsible, respectful, understands the craft, understands your vision, and pay them, you know, accordingly and competitively, then, I mean, great.
Yeah.
I can go on vacation for 4 days and not think about work because I know it's going to be done properly.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm getting more jobs right now. Boom. Here you go. Here's a cut list.
yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I wish I would have done it sooner. My mind wouldn't let me think that someone's going to spend $10,000 on a dining room table. I have to make it. I have to do everything.
Yep.
He knows how to flatten a board.
Yep.
He knows how to put it through a planer and a joint. He knows how to use a domino.
Yeah.
He knows how to use a sander. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a nap. No. But you know, to split it up. I mean, I'm 39 now, so like, not that I'm dying, but my lower back would think so.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to split up split it up, the responsibilities, and also it's nice to have someone in the shop to like bounce creative ideas off of and like
Makes a big difference.
shoot the shit with. You know, I think when I was in the middle of my career, you know, still people are like, that's so cool, you get to work for yourself. And it is, and I'm fucking blessed. I love it.
Yeah.
But before I had someone work, I mean, I'm in here by myself.
It's lonely, man. Beer maker's a lonely existence.
Yeah.
Real lonely existence.
Yeah, and I mean, I have people pop in here and there, but it's not like...
Yeah, it's not quite the same
a thing.
connection as
Yeah.
it. So.
When I converted our garage into our office, so it's literally just us two all the time, which is better because it's the two of us. Better in the loneliness. Sometimes you can't put work away when you get home or when you go out. But when someone texts and they're like, "Oh, I'm swinging by, I'll swing in for a coffee," I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
please do."
Oh, yeah.
Break our
so
day up
good.
a bit.
Have a coffee, have a beer, whatever.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
whiskey. Yeah. That's all, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think you'll get to a point where you build bigger? Is that the future plan?
Yeah, I think...
Okay, just let it run.
I think that I'd like to bring on... I think when I first started, the end goal was to design furniture, my own furniture, right? And I had this vision of like being on vacation, having the pad out and drawing cool stuff and just sending it off, and it appears, you know, you got your workers in here. And now that I've been doing this as a business, and we know that putting your eggs in that basket's a scary thing, and you hope it sticks, and sometimes it doesn't, and then you're fucked. But I think the end goal here would be, come up with something that we can produce that works in everybody's home. So there's a steady flow.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to bring on like 2 more people, I think. Maybe 3.
That'd be cool.
But then you need a bigger shop.
Right.
When I moved in here almost 2 years ago, and I was like, this is huge. And now I'm like, I need another one of these.
Yeah.
Like I need a side to spray on for finishing.
Yeah.
And then I need to slap for the CNC when I get that. You know,
I could easily see you filling 4 of these.
like
4 of these spaces easily.
this is just assembly right now.
Yeah.
You know, I was so excited. I mean, 2,000 square feet. not nothing.
This is the big leagues. I've made it.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, you're like, I need more.
Oh my God, my tools are so big now. Yeah.
I had a job when I was at university shop fitting for TK Maxx. So I worked in TK Maxx and then I got sent to some stores to do some shop fitting and stuff like that, or help the shop fitting teams as their like in-store member. And the shop fitting teams were all like, every single job we go to, they need more space.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just, from then, I've been like, do you know what? It doesn't matter how much space you've got, you need more.
Yeah,
And you just
yeah.
need to make peace with that. You're like, we're always going to need more.
I mean, yeah, I think if I had, I was nervous about getting this space. Like, like I said, could I afford it? And, then and now we're booked 6 months out.
Yeah.
Good.
6 months out, that's great.
Yeah. And
That's fab.
now, by the time 6 months hits, we're another, it's just constant.
It's always rolling.
And it's nice that people understand now. People are like, I need this in a week. I'm like, you're talking the wrong price. I'm like, I'll do it for $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this in a week.
Yeah.
There's no way. I can't. Like
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I think, yeah, you make it work, and you if I got another one and it was another, an add-on, then you would figure it out. You get a CNC for that side.
Yeah.
And then you just be pumping stuff out, and that would pay for it.
Yeah.
You could sell whatever.
Love a CNC.
Live, laugh, love, and
Yeah.
call it a day.
Yeah. Tat shop.
Yeah, totally. Anything.
What do you think the final form looks like? You'd have a spray shop, you'd have a CNC machine.
I don't know if there's ever a final.
Yeah. It's always something else.
I would like a CNC. I go back and forth. I wrestle with this one a lot because, ideally you want the 6x12 or, 6x10, the big boy.
Yeah.
And I don't think, it all really depends on what you're doing and what level you're putting out. And I'm not doing cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And that would make sense for that.
Yep.
Because you're just pumping it out. Pay someone $20 an hour to just put sheets on there and pull them off.
Yep.
Everyone's happy.
Yep.
But then you're at $60,000 for the machine.
Yeah.
Then you're at $60,000 for dust collection. There's $120,000.
Yep.
Then you got to get all the bits. Then you got to get the programs. Then you got to have someone teach you how to use it. Then you got to pay someone to run it. You just call it $200, $250.
Yeah, it's a bit,
right?
Yeah.
Or you can get like a Onefinity, or anything, Shapeoko, whatever you want to get, that fits your needs. Like if I need templates done, which I need for a project that we're starting tomorrow, that can cut it.
Right.
That I can transfer to hardwoods and we can finish it. And I've got people that have the CNCs that I need. I've got 3 people lined up wherever I need it. It's done within the week.
That's good.
And then I can pay them. That's into the budget.
Yep.
Everyone wins. I don't have to spend all this money on a thing.
Yeah.
If I can spend $6,000 on a 5x5 CNC,
Yeah.
that I can cut my stencils out and my templates, great.
Yeah.
That makes,
Yeah.
but, I don't,
It's a big
Yeah,
business.
there's two sides to it, isn't there? Because there's a lot of people that are like, no, we need it in-house, which I totally get. And there's a lot of people that, like you've just said, are like, it's a lot of dough, I don't need it right now, so I'm not going to have it right now. I might not need it ever.
It takes up so much space.
Yeah. But the only way that works is not having it is if you've got exactly what you've just said there.
Yeah.
Good relations with people. And that's like throughout. Good relations with like paint guys, finishing guys.
Totally.
Anything. Yeah. And a lot of them, friends that have in the industry or just friends you've made through the industry, they're just people that you've met on your journey, as it were.
Yeah. I've, like I said, learned from Boomer how to weld and met people through him and
Yeah.
It just trickles down. And
That's
then
wicked.
Instagram was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you meet so many people, you can type in Austin, Texas furniture.
Yeah. Loads come up, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so, I think creating your relationships and having healthy relationships and bringing tacos and beers to your relationships helps.
Is that the cheat code?
That's the cheap one.
Yeah.
What's your work-life balance like?
That non-existent.
None, yeah.
I'm lucky to be going to Mexico tomorrow. My girlfriend was like, I bought the tickets, we're going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right.
Sometimes
okay.
that's what you need.
Okay, I guess we're going on vacation.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't pull the trigger. I was ready to do it mentally. I just was like, but I gotta work. But I got Paul now. So
Yeah.
we sat down for an hour, went through everything. And I think this might be the first time I'm like leaving town and like leaving the shop.
Really?
Yeah.
Leaving town not on
So
business.
take a lot of tequila figures out
Yeah.
there. I remember, you know, maybe 4 years ago, we were all out downtown and at the bars, and we're like, we should go to Belize. And I was like, yeah, we should go to Belize. And we were all looking up tickets, and I bought it.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was like, all right, fine. It's like 6 of us, 7 of us have decided to buy tickets that night.
Yeah.
And, but I was so terrified to tell my clients that I was going out of the country. Because in my head, I'm spending their money on vacation. But that's not the case, because I've worked however many other days of the year to get there.
Yeah.
Why did you feel that way?
I don't know. I just felt like
I can understand
I think if someone's
that.
spending money on your custom furniture, like you should be working on it all the time until they get it.
Yeah.
But then you have the next person that should be getting it, and the next person, and the next person, and then you never get to take a vacation. And now I'm like, hey, I'm going on vacation, and everyone's like, good for you, you deserve it, you work so hard. I'm like, oh,
Nice.
okay. But I was in Belize, and I remember getting a call from the client. I was like, oh, I gotta find somewhere quiet. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, we're working on it right now. It's fine, yeah. Got my guys putting the finish on it. Yeah, I would say another week and a half. And I was terrified. I was like,
Really?
I'm gonna be in deep shit if I tell them I'm out of the country.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Is it? I know. It is nuts. And it shouldn't be like that.
It's nuts to hear it, but I'm not sure I'd be any different.
That would be any
Do
different.
you know what I mean?
Like, I want you to make me a custom motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right? Here's $50,000 to get it started. Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're in Mexico having margaritas and tacos. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey man, where's the bike?
And I'm like, dude, I've spent $5,000 on your bike, 45
Yeah, but that's
grand
not how
on
it
tequila.
works. That's not how it works. It's not like you took their deposit and ran away to New Mexico. That's just how I felt. Like I just felt like I owed them that. I need to be working on this and see it through till it's done, and I don't get to take a break until it's done.
Yeah, I hear it.
Why are you taking a break? Because they're, whether it's, now it's like, hey, I'll get to it in September. Mm-hmm. That's when I'll start.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine, here's your deposit. That's
Nice.
great, But that was like in the middle of my career. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, where I'm just like, yeah, someone just paid me a good sum of money to get started on something, and I'm fucking off. Yeah, I'd be pissed. But also that they're not. Because they see you on socials, and they know you work your ass off, and you deserve to take a break.
Yeah.
Well, they can trust that you're going to get it done, so.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, yeah, if you...
I feel like if we were here for another couple of weeks, we should come back and do an intermediate podcast when you come back and be like, how was it? You're like, it was awful. I never sat down all day.
Just
I was
have to do it
terrified.
live.
Yeah.
No.
We'll need to hook up with you on live on Instagram afterwards and be like, so how was the holiday?
Oh my God, right?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I do get it's mad, but I do get it.
Yeah.
Like I totally get it.
It's a fucked up thought.
Yeah, it is. Because ultimately you're in this because you work for yourself.
Right.
But equally you work for every customer that pays you.
Oh, that's another thing I say. Well, you love working for yourself? I'm like, well, you love being your own boss? I'm like, I don't pay my bills. Whoever I'm building stuff for is paying my bills. They're the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah, but work-life balance I'm getting better at. My girlfriend's really good.
It's all good.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It'll over-record.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's really good about, okay, I need you home by 7. We need to go to the store and get dinner started. I don't want to eat at 8:30 at night or 9. And if I would like 10 o'clock, let's make dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, we started going to a gym it's a CrossFit gym, so we started booking the 6:30 class because it meant we would actually get out the office at like 5:30.
Right.
And we just had to do something. We had to find something that was
Take
like
us away
in
from
the
it.
diary that would take us away. It's so easy to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So easy to do it.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where work-life balance, I think if I wasn't in my relationship with my girlfriend, I would just have a work balance because this is my life.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to be. And I would work on the weekends. I would try to take Sundays off and just chill, go see friends, go outside. But I'm getting better at it. But this is my life, and this is where I want to be. And if it's a Saturday and my friends want to go have a brunch and day drink, like I would much rather be in here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, like
there's so much worth to that. Like this is where you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, my girlfriend drags me out, like, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Wait, we're going to the movies tonight, remember it?
Yeah.
We're going to go have dinner with the family tonight. I'm like, oh yeah. What time is it? It's 9. I'm like, oh, fuck, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't hit me.
I'm coming.
But that's super, super cool that you wanted, like 99% of the workforce on the planet. I'm also doing that thing where 85% of statistics are made up. But you know what I mean? Like 99% of the workforce on the planet, that is not everything they want to do with life.
Right.
And what's really important, and we're noticing we kind of always knew it, with makers, is you guys are doing what you want to do.
Right.
And that's cool. Like, if you don't have to take a break from work, are you really working? Do you know?
Right.
And yes, you absolutely are. But, you know?
I mean, my brain just doesn't turn off. I come in every day with Paul and like, okay, so I had a dream. I got this project. It just doesn't turn off. Like,
That's like
I sleep hard, but I just, I'm like, okay, how can we
Dream
make it
hard
better?
too.
Oh, constantly. It's nuts.
Nice.
You say dream hard. What dreams and aspirations have you got for this in the next few years?
I think in the next few years, like I said, I'd like to grow and bring some new people in, take on some bigger projects, and scale up, get the CNC this year.
Okay.
And
You're still unsure of what that would be, or would that be the sort of meter by meter Shipiko thing?
Huh?
You say get the CNC machine this year. Would that be a big one, or would you go for something small?
No. I don't need a big one.
Right.
Like I said, like the big stuff that I would need that for is like cutting like this tabletop out.
Yeah.
But we did it on a router with the jig I made, and it's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't need it. It makes it easier. But that took all of 40 minutes to make.
Cool. Okay.
You know, but for if I wanted to design a chair, and I needed a template, I can just throw the sheets on, press play,
Yeah.
call it a day.
Nice.
And walk away. Work on, other stuff like that. Yeah, it's scary to scale up. It's scary to bring more people on and take on that responsibility of someone else's livelihood, but you're not taking it on because it's their responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of. But that's not where I'm at mentally. It's like, if I'm bringing on 2 more people, I need to put food on their table.
Yeah, man. I totally hear that, and I sympathize with that. Yeah.
Because then, in the a freelance workspace like this, what's next?
Yeah.
But I know that when this restaurant opens, and this wine bar that we've been working on since November opens,
Wow. Okay.
like, it's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Like, this is probably my best work.
Nice.
And it's really funny about this, because this is probably my biggest job I've done, full build restaurant. And everything was different. So it wasn't like, we need 30 tables. We could do that in our sleep. But everything, curved booth, 30-foot banquette,
Wow.
island of marble tops, everything, like crazy stuff. And we can go over there later if you want. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see.
it's just, that's my biggest job. And the building directly across the little house is the job that got me out of bartending.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, so it's side by side.
That's cool.
I was walking by yesterday. It's like, oh shit, that's pretty wild to see.
That
Like
is
this
wild.
little coffee shop bakery was the big job of mine that got me to quit bartending and allowed me to financially. And then next to it is this one that just like is my biggest job, and I was just like, and my most proud.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
very
so
wild.
good.
It's cool to see a side by side comparison.
Yeah.
I love that.
Commercial jobs like that must be great for people. Residential's great because you get to do what you get to do. But then commercial, do you favour commercial because people can then see your work?
I don't think I've thought about it like that. I like commercial because more people get to experience it and sit
Yeah.
down at it. I just like to see people having a good time at my work.
Nice.
And I think that if the space is good and the energy is good and the vibe's there, and everyone in there is having a good time and it's flowing, then people will enjoy the space better, which will enjoy the furniture better. Excuse me. But I mean, residential is the same thing, The people that are doing it are throwing house parties and,
Right.
and dinner parties, and who made, like, I want people to walk in, whether it's residential or commercial, be like, where did you get that? Who did this?
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of your work's coming from, so that not only is the experience important, but from a marketing point of view, it's invaluable, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we've taken a bunch of your time. Is there anything you want to cover that we've not covered?
No, this is blast. This is great.
You enjoy it?
Yeah.
Good.
No, this is great.
Good. Well, I have one last question.
Yes, I'll sign your book.
No, that one. What
That's
advice?
a demand,
Yeah.
not a question.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh. I think I've taken it all. I think I've taken all my advice.
Yeah.
Keep pushing. Don't take no for an answer. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. Get in with interior designers.
That was good.
Yeah. I think don't be afraid to fail, because that's where you're going to learn everything. And don't think you know everything, because everyone, when they're a younger version of themselves, thinks they. I mean, when I was in my teens or my early 20s, like, I knew everything.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me I didn't know everything. And I'm like, it's so ridiculous, because I don't want to know everything. I want to keep learning.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow. So I think that's final answer.
Like it.
Good advice.
We'll wrap it at that. That's good advice. And I like the fact that you're at peace with, you've taken your advice and you've...
I think I've just gone through so much. I lost my mom. I had
Yeah.
to figure out life on my own. And just like, you get thrown into this vortex of whatever the fuck planet we're on.
Yeah. Well,
And, and then you got to find a path. And to do that solo is...
well, she'd be pretty proud, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think so. I think you've built something cool.
Yep.
You've definitely built something that's yours. And the thing I enjoy seeing is people building stuff that's unapologetically them. They're like, no, this is the way I do it. And this is, and they lean on themselves, and people that bank on themselves. I think that's really, really powerful. I don't think there's enough people doing that in the world. Oh, it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. We've made a few big bets on ourselves recently and in the past couple of years, and not all of them have worked out, but they've worked out better than if we hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've not all hit 10 out of 10, but 3 out of 10 is better than 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Of course.
So.
And then the second time you go around with that, you're going to get better than the 3 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope so.
Yeah, well,
How did you guys meet?
How did we meet? University.
yeah.
So we met a couple of weeks into university.
A couple weeks in.
Yeah.
You're like, you're mine. Come here.
We actually, and I said this to somebody else the other day, I maybe should have noted this at the time. We met
Sometimes you say, like, what are you saying?
we met because Kate forgot her memory card on a photography assignment at university. We were studying product design, and she asked to borrow my memory card. And she still forgets memory cards.
Yeah.
And still forgets stuff. But hey, that's cool. That's water under the bridge now.
We're
And,
very black and white, but it seems to work.
Yeah. It's been 12 years now, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Been married 2 years in May.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
So you were together for like 9.5 and then just got married 2.5 years ago. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it would have been earlier if it wasn't for that
COVID.
that COVID thing that happened to the world.
Right. Oh my God.
We were really lucky at the back of that. We got married on your mum and dad's farm.
Yeah.
So we didn't get stuck with Scotland's a small place, there's only so many wedding venues.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't get stuck. We know people that got stuck for years trying to rebook.
My girlfriend's dad, I guess her name's Danielle. Her dad was talking about bringing me out to Scotland because he's a big bike rider.
Right.
Yeah,
And he wants to go backcountry mountain biking.
Well, please come visit us if you ever make it.
Man, if you want to go mountain biking in Scotland, hit me up. That was
Jack's
my
a big
whole
biker.
childhood.
Really?
Yeah, racing all the Scottish stuff and some of the English stuff and a little bit of European stuff. But that's been my world for the
Cool.
longest time. And all my friend group.
Yeah.
I grew up in that scene. So yeah, if you make your way over to Scotland and want to go mountain biking,
Holler. Okay.
I've probably
Yeah,
even got
'cause-
a couple of mountain bikes lying about that you can have.
Yeah. We
So-
her brother-in-law is a big cyclist in England.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's going to fly out here for this like Texas slow down. It's like a 150-mile ride throughout a couple days. And you get to camp out, party.
Cool.
It's just like real leisurely. But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
looking forward to that. But he would join us in Scotland too. So it'd be the dad, me, and his brother-in-law.
What would you do? Would you do some of the bigger trips, or would
I have
is
no
it
idea.
no?
I was
Just go and have fun.
fucking go to Scotland. Like, fuck it. Man.
Yeah. Well, hey, shout us up, because there's a lot of good stuff. Me and a friend, Si, have done a couple of the bigger trips, like Badger Divide, in very me and Si fashion. You trained for this? Nope, neither have I. Let's go.
Oh my God. I know when he sent me the link, I was like, one was like 450 miles with all like the hardcore cyclists. I was like, I used to ride like aggressive, like fixed gear back in the day.
Yeah.
And now I just recently bought like a 9-speed, like hybrid off-road road bike kind of thing, which is more like a 40-year-old shit. But when they sent me the 450 miles, I was like, I'm not doing that. Papa can't handle that. Oh, like, you're gonna send me into early retirement.
Yeah.
I was joking around my 40th this year at a retirement home at the rec center. People playing like bingo and dentures falling out. People with walkers with like the tennis balls on them.
Yeah, that'll be your happy hour here. Will slowly turn into, from happy hour beers and tacos to bingo and sherry or something. Yeah, pre-tuned food. We'll wrap up at that. Thank you.